There's been times in our marriage where I've been stressed out and wasn't even aware until it was too late.
It's just so beautiful that God places certain people in your life and you're bearing each other's burdens. And sometimes you don't express because one, you don't want to be.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Relationships Refocused. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Essence.
And today we're going to talk about stress. Again, we had a couple episodes ago where we talked about how to deal and cope with stress in healthy ways, successful ways, beneficial ways. So today we're going to...
Was that 3 ways?
Was it? You leave me alone.
Sorry.
So we got this thing. Essence notices like
your quirk.
My quirks. And I say all of these things all the time. Where you know what I'm saying?
You do things in threes.
I say things in threes, no matter what. What's another one?
Those are primarily the two, though.
You know,
but the saying things in threes is like when he's describing something in conversation, he has to add 3 different like descriptions to it.
I do,
and it's like
it just feels complete.
Going through and over and
no matter what it is, it's always 3 things. I come up with 3 adjectives.
I'm like, he should write a book. He'd be great at description.
Oh, we go the power of 3. That's what I'm gonna name it. Because it's the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
He'd be like, Lord, bring us through and over and the other side.
It's true.
It's true. It's true. So I'm wondering.
Well, today we're going to talk about 3 ways. No, I'm just playing. Not 3 ways.
No.
Probably 3 ways. But we talked about coping with stress. Today we're going to talk about how stress can impact a relationship if you let it. Which is a lot of couples go through this.
Yeah.
I mean, not even just relationships in general.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to kind of come from a couple's perspective.
Always. I mean, individual. We got to come from an individual and a couple's perspective because ultimately life hits us all and we all experience these different emotions surrounded by the things that just, happen in our lives. And ultimately that stress is impacting us and therefore it can impact our relationship too. And so I think people oftentimes act like they're never stressed or they don't experience these different things. And it's like, you absolutely do. And it's okay that you do. But let's talk about it. Let's work through it together.
Yep. So, the first thing that just comes to mind straight off the bat is just how stress can damage or hurt or harm. That's my 3. A relationship. I noticed it.
Sorry, now you're going to think about this the entire time we talking.
Because a lot of times we can think or feel like the things that we go through, stress is only something that we're dealing with as individuals.
Absolutely.
But we don't necessarily consider how our stress, how the anxieties, how it can impact the people that we're around. And one way that I think about it is how we can misguide or displace how the stress hits us.
Yeah.
How it manifests in our actions, how it manifests in our day-to-day living, how it manifests in the ways that we interact, how it manifests in the ways that I had to get that extra one because I heard it. How it manifests in the ways that we interact. How it manifests in the ways that we interact with each other. It can be harmful. A lot of times when we're actually going through the emotion of stress, what we don't realize is how we treat the next person, the person beside us, our spouse, our friend. We can be sharp. We can be mean. We can be closed off. All of these things that can harm or hinder a relationship if you're not aware of what's happening or if it goes unchecked. There's been times in our marriage where I've been stressed out and wasn't even aware until it was too late.
Yeah.
And you asking me, hey, are you okay? Hey, is everything? And I'm either
you're like, I'm fine.
Or I've even been like, I'm nothing. I'm just like trying to trick myself, even subconsciously, that I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Until it's like, wait a minute. No, I'm I'm not okay. And this is not okay because it's got you thinking that you could have done something to upset me. It's just messing up the whole vibe of that time.
Yeah.
And having that mistreated, misguided, displaced reactions of stress can like really hurt the relationship as all, especially if it goes for periods of time.
Yeah.
It kind of alters what the truth of the relationship is.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that sometimes we don't know that we're stressed. And so this is why community is important, because community, if you're a single or, even when you're a married couple, right? But in your marriage, it's so important that when you notice something is off with your spouse, that you say it. Don't assume or come at them in a harsh way. But no, you notice that something is wrong. So you come in a caring kind of way, like, are you okay? Like, I'm just checking in because you're coming off like this, or I just see your face. And sometimes for him, it's not even how you're coming off, it's just your demeanor. I can tell your demeanor's not normal. And so I'll bring it and I'm like, your face is looking like this and you just don't seem like yourself. And for a minute, you'd be like, no, I'm okay. And then you come back like, I actually think I'm stressed. I think I'm dealing, this is bothering me and this is bothering me. But sometimes the people closest to us don't even realize how they're showing up in certain spaces. And so it's so important for us as the community, as the husband or wife, to make sure that we let them know, like, I see you. Mm-hmm. This is why it's important to actually pay attention to the people around you that you love and you care about. Because even if they don't realize it, it's your job to cover their blind spots. Or if they're doing something crazy, right? Or something that's not kind or, disrupting space, but just out of care and concern, like, I see something's wrong. Are you all right? And so I think that's important to make sure that we're paying attention to the people that surround us so that we can shed that light and let them know that I care about you and I see you. Something's not okay. So there's been times where I know I feel it and I think I'm okay. And you'll bring it and you're like, you all right? Because, you were a little mean to me earlier. And I'm like, was I? I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was, but it's because I'm dealing with this stress that I honestly didn't communicate either. And so I like to talk about this one instance just recently we had and how we attacked, that we both were in this space of stress and even slight depression kind of creeping up and things like that. And we just, we were like, okay, you called me when you were at work and we were kind of talking about it when you went on like a prayer walk. And we kind of touched base on how you were feeling. And, I'm trying to, pour into you. And then I'm feeling how I'm feeling too. And we came home, we made sure that we did communion. We pray, like, we got to pray this thing off us. And so it's important for you to, one, identify that you're under stress or you're dealing with these things. And then two, communicate it with the people closest to you. And then three, attack that thing in prayer. Because it's okay for you to feel these things, right? But you want to make sure that you're going to the one who gives you peace, the one that you can cast your cares on, the one that tells you not to even worry, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of share how we just recently kind of walked through this space of stress. And it doesn't mean all the stress is gone because we still feel the pressures of life.
Life is life.
Life is life. Yeah, but hey, sometimes you got to tag in your teammate and help you attack that thing. It makes me think of like when you in the WWE, you know what I'm saying? And like, you go over, you tag in your partner. Come on, like, hey, let's fight this thing together. Yeah.
That's kind of points to one of the things that Paul mentioned, bearing each other's burdens.
Yeah.
Especially if you married or you walking through life closely with somebody, like that's one of the benefits of walking in unity, like Psalms talks about, like walking in unity with someone else. You can have that person that you can bear your burdens with, or they can bear yours with. But I think one of the things that negatively impacts these situations is when you have someone there to bear your burdens with, but you don't take advantage of it. And that's one of the worst things that you can do is not be open and vulnerable in the moments to bear your burdens that is stressing you out so much that it's messing up your whole interaction with this person, whoever it is, spouse, friend, child, cousin, parent, whatever it is. It could we having fun today, I guess. But it's one of them things where what is the environment? How was the environment being set up so that there is trust there? There is the freedom and the ability to just be truly vulnerable with what's going on, no matter how embarrassing, no matter how harmful, no matter how whatever. How is that environment being built? Like how is it going so that no matter what? Because a lot of times it can come. All right, so maybe you don't want to share what's stressing you out because you're embarrassed about it or you ashamed about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you don't want to because it's not a safe environment to share.
Yeah.
Like these are the types of things that I think both the person that is stressed and the person that is wanting to help with the stress need to be aware of how they both show up. You know what I mean? Like it can go either way, but that also builds into what those pre-conversations look like, I think, as well.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny that you said that. I was recently just having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about how it's just so beautiful that God places certain people in your life, and you're literally like bearing each other's burdens. And sometimes you don't express because one, you don't want to be a burden to the other person. And it's like, I know you have this going on. I know you have your own stresses in life. I didn't want to burden you with mine, but like, no, we are community. Not even just that, but the shame. Shame keeps us from experiencing what it is that God needs us to experience and what God has for us. And so one, you're ashamed of what you're even feeling, so you don't want to communicate it. Two, you are feeling like you are a burden to someone else. I don't have a 3 for you. However, this is serious, but no, I'm joking, but this is serious. And one thing that she had told me was like, I don't want to put so much on you that, that you like, okay, this is too much. This friendship is too much. Number one, you have to know that if you're in these healthy relationships, they can communicate if it's too much for them. Or like, I don't have the capacity but sometimes you do got to show up. You just have to show up for those relationships. But you got to trust that your friend is emotionally mature enough or they'll properly communicate to you if it does become too much. But they were like, yeah, I don't want to express because I feel like I'm a burden, but that carrying it together is so much easier. I don't want to just pray for you. I want to be specific in my prayer for you. So as a friend, don't just come to me and like, yeah, I'm just stressed. What are you stressed about? What is bothering you? Let's actually attack that thing and name it and call it what it is. Because I don't want to just say alleviate stress. I want to talk about that thing that's causing you to feel this way. And so don't just talk when you have that community or your spouse or your friend. Don't just say I'm stressed or I'm angry, I'm worried. Actually be vulnerable so that you can experience one, the depth of the relationship. And then two, you're inviting that community in to pray for you and war with you when you are experiencing these different things.
I found this that speaks right to that. Hebrews 3, it says, encourage one another daily as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. And that's literally what sin from the beginning of the beginning.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lie that the serpent made. It was deceit.
Yeah.
And the thing, I was just talking about this with somebody on Sunday. That's the thing with deceit. It's going to feel like what is happening, what you're experiencing is really real because deception has a little bit of truth in it.
Yeah.
And it just grasps onto that one little thing that's true. No matter how relevant the truth is, it'll grab onto that one little thing and paint this whole picture that, this is actually what it is.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, being able to walk through that deceit or that sin, that perception, freely
Yeah.
can just expose the whole thing and cut it short right there, which is paramount. Like it's necessary to be able to move through that healthily.
Because I feel like the enemy wants to distort everything. He wants to distort the reality of the situation that you're in. And he also wants to distort the reality of your relationships. He wants you to feel like you can't call your community. One, he wants you to, what you're experiencing is what you're experiencing, right? But sometimes it takes you to just get on a call with somebody and like, okay, you know what? I am tripping. This is not actually that. I am making up these things in my mind that are not true of what I'm experiencing. And then two, I'm making up things or excuses in my mind why I can't even reach out to the people that God has positioned around me to pray for me. It is, you think the enemy wants you connected to that community? So if he can distort that relationship for you, he will absolutely do that. The enemy will distort the exact thing that you're experiencing and make you see that it's not good for you in some capacity to even be experiencing those certain things. So it's deception. It's deception. And so get you some praying friends. If you don't have any praying friends, do you know that God will wake me up and God will put somebody in my heart and I'm praying for them and I reach out, is everything okay? And they're like, oh my God, you are a friend of God. Like, hey, that's the beauty in the community and in the relationships that you have around you. So make sure that you're picking and you're choosing wisely because community is a beautiful thing. And like we said, you're going to feel the pressures and the stresses of life. And I need somebody that's going to walk me through that thing. And I need to be able to share and not affect what God has placed in my heart to be, my life to be a good thing and make it a bad thing by my actions from the stress that I'm enduring. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest ways through that is handling it in a healthy way or healing from the things that is causing either the stress itself, that's causing the misunderstanding of the stress or the prayers that is coming your way.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's talked about enough, like the practicality of getting through stuff. Like everything has to be a miracle.
Everything.
Like everything has to be a quote unquote miracle. When I say miracle as people who follow Christ, what I mean is it has to be something that just drops out the sky, go to sleep, wake up the next morning and it's gone.
Yep.
It has to be like, and that is so, this might be a little deep, but it's so anti-Christ. It's so anti the Holy Spirit and how he does and can function. It's like, okay, do you really have faith in God, or do you just want some type of genie magical thing to be happening? Because what I hear with that is when it has to be this miracle, when it has to be, the thing that was stressing me out, I was just miraculously delivered from it. And it's okay, but what about your homeboy that was showing up every day for 3 months straight with solution, with help, with prayer, with resources, that was walking, that the Holy Spirit was miraculously walking and moving through. It does a disservice to what God has placed on this earth as resource for us.
Yeah.
I mean, he's living inside of you, so why can't what you have and bring be the miracle?
Yeah.
But you're gonna push it away because it's not it's not miraculous enough.
Yeah.
It's not walk on water miraculous.
Yeah.
It's not raised from the tomb miraculous.
Yeah.
And these are the things that we have to get out of, because what it leads to a spiritual like dumbing down of people's emotions, feelings, experiences, all these different things. Yeah. And it detracts from what God has already done and created and placed in his creation. Yeah. So go get therapy. Go get therapy. Go read the book. Go read a book. Like It's okay to read a book.
It is okay to read a book.
Don't just read that book. Like, you need to be in the Bible.
Not just any old book, but one that will help you.
Something that someone has written out of their own inspiration of the Holy Spirit and what God has allowed them to experience and bring them through, so that you can learn from them as well. Because, man, didn't the Bible say that there's wisdom in a multitude of counsel?
But you know what's crazy? So many people want to write books and not read them.
They want
to write books but not read them.
That's like running a burger joint and being a vegetarian.
I mean, you could do it, but it's like, do you know what it tastes like?
It's like, you know what I'm saying? So like we have all of these things that like why would God say it's good to learn from the people around you, but you can't go to therapy and no one will say that it's a bad thing to go to therapy, but everything that they suggest is not pointing people in that direction. Yeah. It's you need to pray more. You need to read more. You really don't believe God, do you? You really, it's all of those different things. But go find you a good book about topic XYZ. Yeah. Go to that therapist, go to the counselor and pray your butt off and fast and like do all of the things that's necessary to get the healing that you need to be better against that stress that's killing whatever relationship you in.
I think sometimes people want to be someone's answered prayer, but they won't allow someone else to be theirs. For example,
wait, say that again.
People want to be an answered prayer, but they won't allow someone to be their answered prayer. And so this miraculous thing that you want to happen to dissolve the situation you're in, maybe it's embedded in your work. It is embedded in your work. And the work isn't necessarily with your hands. Maybe it's the internal work of going to a therapist where God has given them this perspective and experience to walk you through what it is that's going on inside of you. Why can't that be your answer prayer? Why can't therapy be that for you? They're not healing you in this miraculous manner, but you're going to have to do some work in therapy, and that person is going to guide you through it. What is wrong with that? We're in a society, a culture where we have to produce. We want to produce books. That's why I say people want to write them, but they don't want to read them. You want to pray over someone, but you won't let them pray over you. It's almost like you want to maintain this stature of being perfect and not needing help. And so I always, and we've said this before, nothing scares me more than a teacherless teacher. So you can teach, but you can't be taught. You can't go sit under someone and learn, but you want to sit over someone and teach. That's a red flag for me. And so I think it's so important to make sure that we understand that someone else is here to help you and guide you through those things. Therapy is a beautiful place, but oftentimes people run from it because it's work. So there's not always this miraculous thing. God's not going to just take it away from you. Sometimes you're called to endure it because it's preparing. No, it is preparing something in you, but there's work around it too. Go to therapy. Why can't you go to therapy and love Jesus?
The thing with therapy too, or just why it's necessary, you can't work yourself out of, I love this quote, you can't work yourself out of the issues that you got yourself into. Mm-hmm. There's a bias there. Everybody love bias. We know what bias is. Yeah. There's a bias there where you just can't see it. Like you just can't. And I don't care how effective or thorough or whatever it is that you think you are, you can't see the things that are your own issues. There's this thing called Johari windows, where basically the picture that's painted is you're walking through life, you have this thing, that thing, this issue, that issue, but no one else can see, or excuse me, you can't see through this window, but everyone else can see the window that's behind you. Your back is exposed. And it takes those people to look through those windows to be able to point out to you, hey, this is what's actually happening here. Yeah. It's even healthy, I think, to, if you're walking close with somebody, to have that conversation. Hey, this is how I express when I'm stressed.
Yeah.
Or to ask somebody, hey, how do you think you express yourself when you're stressed? Mm-hmm. Are you anxious? Are you short? Mm-hmm. Do you blow up out of nowhere? Mm-hmm. Do you go get real quiet? Do you like these are things that we got to know about ourselves if emotionally.
Absolutely.
If we're going to truly walk and grow how we want to, or we believe that we're walking and growing. Because when you can see it, or at least somebody else knows what it looked like, they can say, hey, your stress is showing.
Yeah. No, for real. It's so true. You know, even jobs ask that on their, they may ask you that on a form that you have to fill out, or they may ask you that in an interview. How do you show up when there's a lot of pressure, mm-hmm. when there's intense pressure? They need to see how, not that you're just going to do your job, but how do you present? How do you show up? Because that doesn't just impact your work. It impacts those who are working with you. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I had this conversation with one of my friends, and, have you ever heard of, what are they called? Phlegmatic.
Yeah, temperaments,
right?
The Arno profiling system.
Yes, and so the temperaments, your inherent temperament. So sometimes I can show a phlegmatic, right? If you don't know it, you can just look it up. But I love being around people, but people also drain me. And so there can be long periods where I just disappear. And it'll be times we'll have something at our house and I disappear up in the room. I need like 30 minutes. And then it's like, she needs a second.
30 minutes, you going to sleep.
Anthony!
Sleep.
But that's the only way to rejuvenate me.
30 minutes.
Okay.
She's out.
Okay. Anyway, I think it went a few days and we had talked more normally, more frequently. And I had to actually express to my friend, like, oh, it's nothing actually wrong with me. It's just sometimes I need to take space or take time for myself. So it's nothing that you did or anybody else did. It's just drained and I'm trying to rejuvenate. But that was an example of me expressing why I'm showing up this manner, or I'm showing up like this. I'm just tired and I just need to rejuvenate myself. And so now my friend is like, oh, you must need your space. Okay, you go take your little space. But this is an example of just knowing yourself and properly communicating how you show up or when you are in those particular funks, or you're just tired or you're stressed. Whatever it is, know yourself and then properly communicate that with the people around you. One, so they can show you or tell you, okay, your slip is showing a little bit. And then be accepting of that, right? It is like, okay, I didn't realize that was happening. Thank God, that he put these people around me that can tell me that my slip is showing. And then also love me and help me enough to tuck it back in. Or to work and to properly work through what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crucial to be able to have that awareness and having people around you, like that to have something distracting me. I thought you had something on your chin, but it was just your hair shining off the light.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Cool. It kind of messed me up a little bit. I let it mess me up. My bad. Oh man, I completely forgot where I was going.
But no, I was just piggybacking off of what you had said, with the Jahari windows and, allowing people to tell you, that you are showing up this way. Yeah. And that was just me giving an example of somebody that I had expressed, this is how I can show up sometime, and they're doing that for me. Mm-hmm. And so community is just an important thing when we're dealing with our stress. And we don't want to ruin the community. We don't want to ruin our relationship. Because you love them, you love your husband or wife, you love your friends and family, you love them. And so you want to make sure that just because life and pressure is hitting you, you don't want to hit them in a negative way. Either invite them in with you. I think vulnerability is just one of those things that we always come back to, because we work through it in therapy ourselves, about not being vulnerable enough. Not exposing what we were really truly dealing with internally. And the moment we did that, it's another level of intimacy that you can experience with your husband or wife when you would just let them, like, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not okay. Let me call you. You don't have to be Superman all the time. Can I call you and tell you I'm stressed out? And then can we attack this thing together? But it's really, we always go back to vulnerability being a power and not a weakness.
Yeah.
And so
it's definitely a superpower.
It's a superpower.
It's a superpower. And vulnerability, emotional. EQ has been a buzzword for the last 7-8 years.
Yeah.
But it really is a necessary thing. And on top of it too, I think there's a self critique that should be considered in trust. Like, trust and vulnerability go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
If you feel like you can't, or if you notice yourself not being vulnerable or being apprehensive to being vulnerable, I think there are some questions that you got to ask yourself in the first place. Is trust there with this person? And then on top of that, why don't I trust them enough to just go out with it? Is it because of me? Or is it because of them? And you need to move accordingly with that, because if you can't trust your spouse,
we got a problem.
What you get married for?
Problem we need to work through.
And so it's either something that they have done, or it's something that you're not holding to them that's not fair. Yeah. Because I and to that vulnerability thing, I don't think you're ever, at least me, let me speak for me.
Okay.
But I'm talking about me when I say this, but I don't think you'll ever get all the way to it. I still be struggling with being fully vulnerable myself still. And we've been working on this for years. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's always just that, again, that can come with how ashamed you are of something or whatever it may be. But what I have worked on is it's saying to myself, no, this is my wife. You know, like when it comes to stuff that we're talking about or things I'm sure, this is my wife. If I don't act in a way where I trust her, then what did I get married for? So I throw that thing out, like throw it out there.
Yeah, because for me, I want to be able to see those parts of you, right? I want to be able to actually show up and help. And I can't do that without that vulnerability. And we have to understand that the vulnerability is risky. You can also risk the opportunity to become intimate with your partner. And that is not a fulfilled marriage. That is not a fulfilled marriage, because you have limited your ability to really go deep with them because of that fear. And so throw that thing out there and give your husband or wife a chance to actually show up the way you need them to and just experience you on a more intimate level. We always think intimacy is about sex. No, it's not just about, it's deeper than that. Does it make it better? Sure. But it's not just about that.
Intimacy is the act of oneness with the person that you are talking about or referring to. But it's not just oneness physically. Yeah. Where the two become one. Yeah. It's literally the cleaving is two becoming one. Outside of the physical, because physical is inside. It.
All right. So yeah. All right. So wow. All right. So listen, we're gonna go ahead and end on that note. This was a great episode, and I really truly hope that it blessed you and it inspired you to trust the relationships that God has given you and give them room to experience the intimacy that God wants you to experience in those relationships. But number one, with Him. So bear your burdens with your brothers and sisters, your husband and wife, but also make sure that you go to the Lord and cast your cares and concerns on Him. He gives you peace. And so allow God to do that work in you. And while he's doing that work in you, allow the community around you to attack that thing and pray for you and keep you covered in the midst of it. So honor the relationships that God has placed in your heart. And number one, you want to honor him. All right. In all that you do. So if this episode blessed you, please share it with someone else. Matter of fact, subscribe, share it with anybody that you can think of, because we're all in close relationships with other people. And we want to make sure that we're honoring them the way Christ would like us to. So stay tuned for the next episode. We love you. And in the meantime, in between time, stay focused.
Peace.